Good morning. I'm going to talk about this Covfefe, however you pronounce it, controversy or incident or whatever you wanna call it. I think it's just a complete a distraction created by the media to distract you away from real issues. So for those who don't know, Donald Trump tweeted some time ago, despite the constant negative press, Covfefe. And for me here is that despite the constant negative press, Covfefe. And the media is I guess both sides, like pro Donald Trump and anti Donald Trump people are, really vocal about their opinions and discussing this and that and making memes and shit. But anyway, the explanation that I've heard is that he was supposed to type despite the constant negative press coverage. So this is supposed to be coverage, but he, probably used his phone and did this weird typo and also didn't finish the sentence. So this is what happens. It's sort of embarrassing, but he's like an, old man, older than my parents. So I think it's understandable to do social media gaffes like this. My parents certainly aren't good with information technology. But anyway, I don't want to defend Donald Trump either. It's it's sort of silly, but it's this isn't a serious issue. But this is CNN. I want to just point out what they said. They said that he said this despite the constant negative press, Covfefe, and then later he added who can figure out the true meaning of Covfefe? Enjoy! So, and then CNN say, to be clear, this is on its face dumb. And he was trying to type coverage and misspelled it. And I don't know, this doesn't sound I couldn't imagine back in the 90s, one of these supposed respected media outlets are saying the president did something like that. It's dumb. Usually they would hedge says this was a gaffe or this was a mistake or something like this, but this is how dumbed down the media is. And of course CNN and all these outlets, they were equally controlled back in the 90s or whenever. But at least back then they sort of had to pretend like they were, talking about facts because people weren't as dumb as they are nowadays. And Salon is writing there was a spelling bee and some girl, she tried to spell Covfefe, but she misspelled it Cowfefe without the V and whatever. Really, who fucking cares? And apparently Trump supporters thought that Covfefe means I will stand up in Arabic, and they say, you idiots. Well, I guess it's idiotic because I tested Google Translate and no, at least according, I put Arabic as the first language and English as second and wrote Covfefe, and no, there was no translation. But of course I don't know how to write Arabic, I just used the Latin alphabet, so maybe that was my mistake. But I don't think it's I will stand up. Sofukov is I will stand up, or I don't know, whatever. At least this is, I think, is sort of it's become a new meme. Make Covfefe great again. And I saw some cups and stuff. People, they're actually selling this already on eBay. I think this is sort of funny, but it's just overshadowed. I've seen so much people just harping on about Covfefe, either saying how dumb Donald Trump is, or like, you know, saying like, no, Donald Trump is so cool and whatever. And yeah, there's even this Urban Dictionary definition already. Covfefe is the one secret name of an ancient tentacle monster that white supremacists fornicate with. Okay. I wonder what's the source of that, but whatever. So I think this is all basically bread and circuses, except like it's circuses. It's not bread. Like, you know, you're watching people fight over some stupid word, and I don't know, like maybe Donald Trump was actually using some occult esoteric word that has a magical meaning, and like, okay, if somebody can prove that that is the case, then I'm like, ooh, okay, I'm sort of interested in this Covfefe stuff. But like, so far it just seems like a typo. An old man made a typo on a fucking phone. It's not really news. Like, yeah, sure, I can understand that the news outlets mention it, but like an, you know, interesting tidbit, like, oh, Trump accidentally did this, but it's not like a greatest thing. And this same fucking thing has been going on ever since like Donald Trump became like a serious candidate for presidency. Like especially from his opponents, like they don't bring any attention to his actual flaws and questionable things about his past and so on. They just say he's racist, sexist, misogynist, and all this, and, you know, stupid crap like this. But anyway, I wanna also mention this thing. There was, of course, this I think she looks like a tranny, but whatever. There was this controversy that Kathy Griffin, I guess she's some comedian, I sort of remember seeing her somewhere, but anyway, made this picture of her with this fake head of Donald Trump bleeding and stuff, and then she had to apologize and bullcrap, and then she made this like Fox video.
You have beer for your career.
Just look, she's smiling, like,
you have beer for your career after
like she's enjoying it.
Absolutely. I don't think I will have a career after this. I think he, I'm going to be honest, he broke me. He broke. And then I was like, no, this isn't right.
Now she's pretending to cry, but she's not really crying, no tears.
This is not right. And I apologize because that was the right thing to do and I meant it. And then I saw the tide turning and I saw what they were doing and I went, oh, okay, they're trying to spin this and they're making it about Barron, and obviously that was never my intent.
Yeah, I don't want to say it. I just want to show the beginning. Like, she's clearly not sad, but then she gets into like in character or something.
You have beer for your career after this storm dies down. Absolutely. I don't think I...
So this is like a, I don't know, like hoax. It's a distraction, like a deliberate media distraction. Like, I don't know if Donald Trump himself is on it or like his administration, but at least like her and the media, they are creating this fake controversy so we wouldn't pay attention to, like, you know, issues that actually matter. Like, you know, some half-assed crappy comedian made a stupid joke, and of course, like, yeah, it's fine to point out how, you know, if somebody did something like this about Obama, it would be like racism and white supremacy. But, you know, if you do it about Donald Trump, and, you know, you are the victim because, you know, I know it's like a, you know, double standard and all that stuff, but it's still like, yeah, we've seen this, like, they just want us to keep, you know, fighting over like the self-evident stuff. Like, yeah, I've seen this fucking narrative so many times. Like, you know, the left is actually like, you know, doing something wrong or attacking, but then they pretend they are the victim. And then we are supposed like, no, this is like, you know, this is exactly what the media wants. They want us to, you know, just discuss back and forth on meaningless issues. So anyway, like I already said, like when Donald Trump was running for president, most of the criticism that especially the left shelled against him was that he's racist, sexist, misogynist, white supremacist, and so on. And now, like, you know, he's the president. The the most like prevalent criticism of him is like pointless crap, like he's misspelling a word on his phone or Twitter or whatever like whatever hardware he used to type it, and it's not like the most significant issue, like because well, I was aware already, like before Trump became president, of his like Zionist ties and Jewish ties, because he's friends with Benjamin Netanyahu and all of his kids are married to Jews, and he's a very pro-Israel president and so on. And also like I've seen some videos on YouTube, people pointing out Donald Trump's weird relationship with his daughter Ivanka, like going back to when Trump, like when Ivanka was like a child, like they seem a bit too close in a weird way. And if you don't know about it, I suggest you look into it. Like I don't know what's going on with those two, but I think it's at least like it's a more significant issue than Covfefe. And of course Donald Trump has been friend with the Clintons for a long time, and during the debates or something, like between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, Trump said that he will appoint this special prosecutor to prosecute Hillary Clinton, or like Hillary Clinton would be in jail if Donald Trump would get the vote, like write the laws, but she's still free as far as I know. Like okay, I understand, like if Donald Trump really wants to put her in jail and make her pay for her crimes, then he cannot just do it the first day he's in office and tell his minions to go arrest her. Like if he really wants to do it, I guess I can understand it takes some time to do the proper investigation and whatever stuff, but I'm not convinced that he really wants to do it. And all Trump supporters should be pay attention now that Trump is the president. They don't really have to like protect him anymore, or or even if you want, you cannot really do anything to protect him, because unless you actually next to him or something. But there are like this, like I've said this before, like I despise the left so much because they did not pay like bring any light to these actual legitimate criticisms against Donald Trump. They just brought attention to this made up false lies that Trump is sexist, or like okay, I guess I can see he's sort of like a playboy. Like the sexist thing is sort of accurate, but like, well, at least he's not a sodomite like Obama, at least as far as I know. Or like and I don't know how he's like, at least he's not very white supremacist, since has close ties with Jews and Israel, and he's not like homophobic, since he was saying I will protect the LGBTQ community and all that stuff, and he said that Bruce Jenner, or whatever his name nowadays is, could use any bathroom he or she wants in the Trump Towers, and like it's just complete bullshit. Like at least I don't know what he secretly believes or what his intentions are, but like based on what I've seen, these are complete bullshit, like these allegations against Trump, whereas the real allegations are ignored, like this article, how Rothschild Incorporated saved Donald Trump, and like here it starts, Donald Trump has been calling the United Nations weak and incompetent while stating that NATO is obsolete. Like yeah, this is good, and both are suggesting of a changing world in which the role of the United States will be consolidated within a larger global governance framework. This framework will be structured around the multilateral mandates of a new monetary system and the objectives of the United Nations 2030 agenda. And so anyway, like Trump was saying that how NATO is obsolete, and sort of like, when he was still running for president, like, oh, maybe, he's gonna dismantle NATO. But now, as far as I know, Trump isn't, like, he's now strengthening NATO or something like that. So of course it's very difficult to say what Trump is actually doing, since both sides of the media is lying. Like, the pro-Trump media is lying for him, like, trying to make everything Trump does seem good, and the anti-Trump media, of course, is lying and making it seem like everything Trump is doing is bad. And it's very difficult to ascertain what he is actually doing. So I don't want to read the whole article and stuff, but basically this article seems to suggest that Trump has been propped up by the Rothschilds, and I think it says something like his commercial ventures went belly up, and then the Rothschilds bailed him out or something like that. I suggest, it wasn't so easy actually to find this article, and the guy who wrote this, J.C. Collins, I think he died in 2015. So this was updated by somebody else, I suppose, because it's 2016. But I'll move on, because then there's Stephen Mnuchin, however you say his name, Goldman Sachs, some investment banker who Trump's pick for Treasury, the Secretary of Treasury or whatever, and he, where does it say it? George Soros connection. It's not clear from news reports how close Mnuchin and Soros were, if at all, but damn, I should search for it. Where does it say, if confirmed by the Senate, Mnuchin, a former Goldman Sachs partner who has donated heavily to Democrats in the past and once worked for liberal financier George Soros, will play a significant role in much of Trump's agenda regarding tax policy, trade deals, and infrastructure ambitions, among other policies. So he's, Trump was supposed to drain the swamp, and then he hired this guy. He is the Secretary of Treasury for Trump, and he worked for Soros, and Soros is supposedly anti-Trump, and he's been financing all these lefty Antifa protests and Black Lives Matter. But I don't know. Are they really enemies, Trump and Soros? I don't know. But this is something I don't know if Trump, like France's new president Emmanuel Macron worked for Rothschilds, and I don't know if Trump really got his money. But this is an allegation that you should pay attention to, instead of Trump said Covfefe. It's so fucking retarded, and I think that's part of the point. It's sort of back in the George W. Bush era. I hated Bush for starting all these wars, war on terror, and signing the Patriot Act and this Orwellian stuff, and war, torture, Orwellian surveillance state stuff, good reasons to hate him. But then as it went on, I began to hate the anti-Bush people even more, because they were I don't know, they're just so stupid, or they don't really care, because there was some rock against Bush, some concert. So it's sort of they wish they were hippies in the 60s and 70s, they wish they were like hippies in the 60s and 70s protesting against, the Vietnam War, because that was cool. Like, I think they care more about this, this image of, being this rebellious freedom fighter for peace, instead of actually, getting results or anything like that. Like, they were so, pointless and effeminate, and I don't know what word to use, but now it's sort of like because like, yeah, I think I was fooled by Trump, because like the people who at least pretend to be against Trump, some of them probably pretend, like, I don't know, Kathy Griffin, she's clearly, well, she is an actress and she is acting, but like all of these, useful idiot leftards who oppose Trump, they really believe in it, but they're like, intellectually and morally on the level of an 11-year-old. They're sort of saying like that's what it comes down to. Like, the anti-Trump people is saying like, yeah, Trump is a mean poopy head. He's a poopy head. And then the right wing, who is like more like, 13-year-old intellectually, like, no, he is not a poopy head. He's the God Emperor. It's so fucking retarded. Like, yeah, I don't know what Trump is all about, but I'm getting like, more and more skeptical about him, and yeah, I can't really believe anymore that, he is really, going to make things better. Like, maybe on surface it will seem better, but like, marginally better, but I cannot believe that he is, genuine anymore. Like, not really. Yeah, I was blinded by my hatred of the, opposition. Like, the media is really good at manipulating people, especially dumb people. Like, and these hateful, like, because, well, yeah, when you look at the left, there isn't like, they don't have really any positive qualities. They're not intelligent. They are not, nice or polite. They are not loving. There is nothing good about them. So it's like, it's so reasonable to despise them. But yeah, I guess I have to admit I sort of was blinded by my hatred for them, and I guess I hope that Trump destroys the left, but I don't wanna still, I don't expect him to make things much better, and the people who actually still are able to put two brain cells together should, be very skeptical of Trump himself, and of course all of these dumb media narratives that just, have us going around in circles and engaging in pointless internet squabbles.